Hey, Kelly,
Yeah, Letty.
remember that time we spent a lot of money? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey.
Welcome to
Episode 2, take 2.
episode 2, take 2 of WTH ADHD.
Pray tell, why, Kelly, are we recording our second episode?
Well, ironically enough, it has to go with today's somewhat theme. Oh,
What, like we have ADHD or something?
yeah. We thought we could record a podcast without planning anything.
Well, let's not skim over the fact that we were extremely tired.
We were really
Running
tired.
on -3 speed with medication
and caffeine.
and caffeine, which provided absolutely zero help.
Nothing whatsoever.
Side effects of fatigue with ADHD can include hyperfocus, unfocus, extremely slow speech, blabbering on, making lists that the other person starts fading out on. I think I listed like 13 pieces of clothing, and you were just like, you lost me at tank tops. Because got into closets somehow, which was a bad idea. Don't go into my closet.
So we're learning. We've learned. We've created a somewhat outline, shall we say, of what we're going to tackle today.
Sure.
I think
I've got one in my head.
It's a step. Well, that's the problem. It's in your head. Nobody else can see it.
I have so many things outlined in my head. It's fine.
But that's the problem. So, today's topic.
Hey, it's me. It's ADHD.
Is, of course, money.
Yes. So I'd like to go back to the barter system. Can we do that? Because I can make things and I think I could, survive and make a pretty good
But
income. Can
we
do that?
Etsy almost?
No, that's still money.
Still use money.
Yeah, they just make things for money.
We did this thing in middle school, a project, and it was a school project for 7th grade or 8th grade, and it was all about
Did you
bartering.
make moccasins?
No, but people had to make things, and I don't know if it went very well.
Oh, I'd make you a shoe.
I don't think it went very well. What was that called? Shoot.
Oh, people would make things and they're like, no, this is really great. And nobody wanted it because it was awful.
In middle school, somebody will tell us. Somebody will tell us when they hear this, and they'll write it in the comments. Anywho.
Is this like an American thing in middle school?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They all did it. Travel fair? Shoot.
We made things for the motherland.
Travel fair?
We did not make barter system. We made for motherland.
But we used no money, and I don't think it went very well. So we do need money. But us with ADHD, as I have learned, boy, oh boy, do we have a problem with money.
Yeah, so
holy crap, it explains so much of my life.
For me growing up, we would go on these, you go to the mall and you go quote unquote window shopping. And we spent a lot of time doing that. And retail therapy, that sort of thing as a child.
Yeah.
I hated it because it wasn't me driving the experience. I had to follow someone else sorting through things. And that was torture and overstimulating. And I didn't really have money for quite some time. But because those experiences had been there, once I was old enough, I got these things called credit cards.
Oh my God, Letty.
So when I turned 18,
Letty,
I think I got my first credit card, and I also got my first bank account. I can't tell you how many of those stupid pieces of papers I got from the bank that says $25 overdraft fee, because I couldn't remember or keep track of
doesn't this
balances.
So much.
And I would fill out that little, because back then we had paper tracking for checks.
Mm-hmm.
and you ran a balance. So if you put in $500, then you'd go minus $2.22 for the coffee you got. And then you'd make little entries. And at the end of the day, you'd have to remember what your day looked like unless you carried it with you and you did it all the time. But who does that at 18?
Right.
Well, people who have their shit together, I guess.
I worked at a bank in college. So at the very beginning of my financial career, I always balanced my checkbook. Always, because I worked at a bank. But that didn't mean I didn't overspend like cray. The second I started making money, me and my friend Nicole would go to frickin' what's it called in the mall?
The store.
Store in the mall. Not the limited,
Yeah.
but whatever. And we would spend $400 at once.
Casual Corner.
No, not Casual Corner. Shit.
Oh, tell me some 80s store names.
Oh my God, I can't remember. But anyways, like I got in serious financial. I worked for a woman who only bought top of the line shoes, clothes.
Oh, tell me more about top of the line shoes.
I mean, she used to take me shopping with her, and she used to show me what
what is.
I bought my first, is it Dolce & Gabbana dress?
Tell me more.
But I also declared bankruptcy at 27.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for me, I think, looking back too, like there's no class on balancing bank accounts.
And
there's no financial planning.
We have to teach our kids.
We had like cooking class, like home ec, but it didn't really, maybe for some kids that do. I went to magnet, gift to people who are supposed to know like weird things, not life things, but one specific weird thing.
Right.
I'm not saying magnet people are weird. I was a weird thing, learning a weird thing. But
anywho,
so you come out and all of a sudden you're kind of like a free range chicken. You're out roaming and you don't have the skills to do these things. If you came from a family
who didn't know how to,
who also might have had ADHD, who did not run their lives in a way where they would have modeled these things for you. I'm still floored at some of the financial responsibility my daughter's father is showing them by, this is how you open a bank account. This is how you do things. Because I love it. I think it's great. And I wish I would have had it. I just had a bank account because I would get checks and I needed to put them somewhere. Right. So financial planning.
Because I haven't taught her very well thus far. And I need to start now because she gets so much money from outside people. Yeah. I want her to be wise with it.
I feel like this generation is actually careful with money.
Yeah, I agree.
They value it. They value spending on experience over things. And I love that non-materialistic.
I absolutely agree.
Feel. But then again, they haven't really quite, opened towards that yet.
We'll see. We've got time.
I lost your audio. What happened to your microphone? Did you switch it off?
No. Oh, I might have.
Yeah. Okay. There's a button there.
Oh, shoot.
And when you fidget on it, it turns your microphone on.
I know, but I fidget. I can't help it. So with
let's go forward. Go forward. So a lot of spending, earning, not saving. Like I wasn't taught about savings. And in Eastern Europe under communism, you just kind of scraped. And so no one really had money. And
my parents didn't save. And that's, and I totally get it. They couldn't. They were paycheck to paycheck people. I absolutely understand that. And I've been a paycheck to paycheck person too, when I really shouldn't be a paycheck to paycheck person. And that's the thing.
I think when you have that ADHD component, you end up with these financial issues that lead to paycheck or overdrafts and things.
Exactly.
And let's say one of those things could be, I don't know, impulsivity, right?
Right.
Executive function helps you regulate your impulsive thoughts and urges. And a lot of impulsivity comes from the intrusive thought, but also the dysregulation that you may experience. And shopping is a great way to help channel that
Or opening a
dysregulation.
bakery.
Or opening a bakery, having had an amazing thought
Right.
and not had any prior experience
Like
/ training /
nothing.
business training.
None.
So, hey, Kelly, let's open a bakery with no business plan.
None.
Do you remember when we opened our bank account and the guy asked us if we had a business plan? I was sweating.
Enos?
Yes. Enos needs your wet
Enos.
signature.
Enos.
I was sweating in that chair. He's looking at me and I'm like, oh, yes, of course we have a business plan. And to me, a business plan was you make these things,
Mm-hmm.
you then open up a space,
Mm-hmm.
you rent it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you make those things there and you sell them.
Uh-huh. That sounds like a great plan.
And that was the business plan. Oh, and you make coffee too.
And guess what? They gave us an account. They gave us a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
And then we threw a whole bunch of money at it.
Like,
because we're so hyper focused and it felt so great.
oh my God, we redid, we got a space, we redecorated, had a decorator come in.
What the heck?
Best, Rudy. Rudy came in and redecorated our freaking store.
Like wallpaper.
We had the best wallpaper.
I just found the sample wallpaper
that we cut out of the.
It was so beautiful to look at on this one wall.
We really did it nice.
And it wasn't that we didn't have a good idea that was solid. It wasn't that we didn't know how to execute the things.
That we didn't know how to execute.
Well, no, I'm talking about the product portion.
Right.
So the business idea was solid. The product was solid. Our ability to manage that would have been really solid had we had some training and had gone through what people do in terms of writing business plans and things like that. But I will say, if someone would have told me that the only way to start that business was to write a business plan, I would have been like, nope, I'll do something else. Because the idea of organizing all that at that time,
it's very overwhelming.
Now I'm definitely about it. So overwhelming.
So what did we do?
Did you write a business plan, Kelly?
No, I didn't write a business plan.
Oh.
We didn't ever write a business plan. Oh, we started. We did.
Because we had the thought that we should expand to join with another company to distribute, I think. And they wanted to like look at a business plan or something. Like it came up and I did start I got a binder and I started like breaking apart what needs to go into business plan. Or was it the bank guys? Was it? Kelly.
I don't remember and I don't want to remember. Because literally what we did was just spend and then spend some more and then spend some more.
Very reactive spending.
We didn't understand inventory. We didn't understand any of that. And as we got into the business, we had to learn all of that because our accountant told us we needed to do that.
Right. So then we get into this other caveat of ADHD. So impulsivity combined with the executive function disorder of not being able to plan well.
It's literally like we, honest to God, had every good intention, but we didn't listen to anybody and we just did it. And if we had that money again and had the opportunity, we could make a go of it.
After we now know market research.
Yeah. No, I think we could.
Yeah.
But we had no idea. And that's okay. And that's fine. And that's whatever. No regrets.
I'm okay being a cautionary tale.
Absolutely.
Because
A cautionary tale.
as messed up as the executive function can be with ADHD, the flip side, that incredible creative surge,
Mm-hmm.
the outside of the box thinking, there
Mm-hmm.
is no box for an ADHD person.
Mm-hmm.
The unique problem solving
Mm-hmm.
approaches are the things that
Fantastic.
drives innovation when this world needs it. Right.
But
However,
not at the expense of a shitload of money.
right. And I think this is another reason there should be more recognition for ADHD so that in school we can support all our young thinkers
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
who may exhibit signs or may not exhibit signs but who do have ADHD or other undiagnosed neurodivergent brains. Brains, that's the
Well,
word.
then let's move into our personal experiences
Yeah.
with
Let's talk about how we fucked up.
impulsive.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about some more impulsive, let's say, spending.
Mhm.
What I used to spend on my little games on my phone. I would spend $1.99 here, $1.99 there, $2.99 there. It's only $1.99, but if you times it by 20, it's $40, $50, $60. That's one thing I had to literally, like, in my hand, I had to think through and go, Kelly, you do not need to buy those 25 diamonds. You literally
in-app purchase.
don't need to buy those 25 diamonds.
You go for those in-app purchases.
And it's like a really hard thing for me not to do it.
Well, and looking at the app industry, they actually really understand the reward mechanism in the brain, and they provide enough dopamine pickup where you're staying engaged, and then they drop you a little or put you in a hurdle position just at the peak of that where you need more.
Yep.
And,
Oh
and
my
they
God.
drop it in on you, and they know exactly when that time span is on average. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of algorithms at work there.
That's so crazy.
It takes advantage
It
of
really
that
works.
thing, though. It really does. And it super works on young minds.
Yes.
And not only does it work on the young minds in terms of spending, but it's taking that attention span that's developing and reducing it by offering rewards just a little earlier than maybe you'd need it chemically in your brain. And it decreases that attention span to where then that person really needs that quick switch up.
I feel like a lot of people are going to relate to that. My kid spent $300 on the Kim Kardashian app. $300.
I have so many questions. There's a Kim Kardashian app.
Yeah.
Let's start with that.
That Kim Kardashian makes gajillions. When I say gajillions, I mean gajillions on her app.
She's an amazing businesswoman. I will say that. I will 100%. The whole family is an incredible enterprise.
Amazing. You cannot knock them for that. But my own daughter spent that money, and I thought it was my husband spending money on music. And I kept telling my husband...
You mean his ADHD record collection?
He does that, yes, because he's ADHD and likes to buy $1.99 songs over and over and over again.
Mm.
And I let
Digitally?
him...
Digitally?
Yeah.
Mm.
And I like to let him have his music. But I was saying, babe, can you please stop spending so much money on music? And he's like, okay. And then all of a sudden these charges would come through and I'm like, babe, stop spending money. And he's like, I'm not spending money. And then that's when we figured out it was my daughter. Kim Kardashian app buying makeup.
For us, it was Animal Jam.
That stuff.
Ours was Animal Jam, and I think Singing Monsters or something like that. Those were like,
yes.
But Animal Jam was like the one that was like really, and then it goes to Roblox. So Roblox is a different approach where you have Roblox bucks.
Correct.
Which is not money technically, but it is. And the way they offer it to children is to change your skins or the way you look or to access things And again, it's just building the system
Mm-hmm.
of changing on very small increments what you're doing, and making yourself look a little special, a little different, which is great. And we all did that on a big scale at the mall, right? You look special with that
Exactly.
scrunchie or
Exactly.
whatever. But because they're not outside doing
Yeah.
things, they're inside. Those marketing worlds still had to reach that audience. And they did that through in-app
We
purchases or
did a
level
lot
up
of
purchases.
Robux, but a lot of the time she would pay me for the Robux.
And with that, I feel like they're much more
Mm-hmm.
responsible than I ever would have
Mm-hmm.
been. If I would have had that kind of access as a youth, it would have been like
Mm-hmm.
bankruptcy at 12.
So
Yeah.
tell me a personal thing about you
All right.
and
Well,
impulsivity.
oh, sure. So I think that you're extremely rich for buying things.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, mine was shaped a lot by the immigrant experience. So I'm a cheapskate
Mm-hmm.
overspender.
Boy, oh boy, are
I
you?
look for the deal. And when I find that
You
deal,
pop those tags.
I feel like I won the lottery, that I got a $300 something for $10. I think I'm the shrewdest, awesomest
Mm-hmm.
buyer. It's like being on a hunt
Mm-hmm.
in the forest, and I like,
Letty would go and pop tags at all of the Salvation Armies, and she would come back and bring me shoes
oh, they had
all
them
the
in your
time.
size.
Yeah, all the
Designer.
time.
Those are like $500 shoes for $20, Kelly.
It was just, I had never met anyone like that in my entire life. Nobody just brought me stuff because they found it at the Salvation Army.
Oh,
Yeah, you did it a lot.
and some
A
of them
lot.
have, some of them had such great designer, beautiful things that people just toss away
Mm-hmm.
because they don't like it anymore, and they're in perfect shape where they never wore it.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
crazy. I
that's a
can't believe some of the
treasure.
stuff you found.
I mean, just treasure. And so for me, the hard thing now, I would say, is that access has changed, where before I'd have to go to the thrift store to do it. But now I can shop the San Francisco eBay store on eBay, and it's the same amazing deal, except it says that the thing's going to end in 4 minutes,
Oh, Jesus
and it's
Christ.
counting down in red. And I could buy that deal and make the bid on it. And then you're not thinking about that shipping fee and things like that. So finding those deals online are really hard. Auction things, the resale, right? I like the found object idea. I like not buying something
I
new
couldn't do it.
because I'm not the clothing industry is just such a waste, right? So I like the idea of repurposing someone's throwaways and looking good doing it.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree, but oh my God, you did it so much.
And I'm not saying I'm not doing it now. I have to
I agree.
I have to be so conscious. It happens a lot at the end of the day when I'm unwinding. Rather than pop on social media, I'll pop on these other sites and scroll for a long time, liking these objects.
So hard. I know.
But then I don't buy a lot of it too. So
Mm-hmm.
do
You're
you,
better.
do you do the abandoning shopping carts online?
Oh, I pretend shop all the time. I pretend shop
I
everywhere.
just picture myself like in a real store,
Everywhere.
leaving the cart that I
Uh-huh.
filled with all the stuff that
Mhm.
luckily no one has to put back because it's virtual, but I can just picture
I pretend shop at every store, everything I go online with,
all the time.
just to see. Just to see what it would be like and what it is and what I found. And I'll even edit. I'll go into the cart and I'll
Mhm.
edit the cart.
Like try
I've
to
got
make the
3
number
shirts,
that
I
works
don't need
for
the
you.
4th.
Like that, to get that bottom number line that might work for you
Right.
for purchasing.
Oh, yeah. Because if I can get below like 200, I could probably pull it off.
Right. And that's where right now I'm able to look and say,
Hmm.
no, I
Mhm.
don't really need it. So I don't check out right away. I let that like simmer and
Mhm.
linger.
Mhm.
unless I'm really tired. And I think fatigue has a lot to do with how much more influenceable I am to hit that final purchase.
Hmm. I
Def-
think we need to not look at those sites at the end of the day.
but that's how I unwind other than Sudoku. I mean, what do you want me to do?
I mean, I play solitaire. I play a lot of
I
solitaire.
read medical journals to put me out of my day's misery.
How about organization? How's that for you?
So, organization for me is probably the highest executive function problem out of all of those things, being impulsivity and planning and organization. So,
Because it costs a lot of money to organize.
well, not just that kind of organized, but organization also includes time management. And I am completely time blind. And that includes dates. So I remember March 12th is the due date. But by that time, my poor organizational skills that have placed the item in this really nice stack where all my due dates things are,
Your bills.
my bills, yes, I won't be able to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really had to change my systems
Mm-hmm.
because I'd be late.
Like so many late fees. It's I
Oh,
could seriously be a millionaire
oh,
from all my late fees I
oh, the
paid.
house you could be in.
Oh my God, it's so insane.
And again,
Oh my God, I hope
right,
I hope my kid doesn't have as many late fees as I have had.
in this particular world, the way it's set up in their capitalism and the financial system, it's really our skills are very maladaptive to functioning well in a society that requires you to have these things on time. Now, I have auto pays on my bills now.
Yes,
I make sure,
I do.
and I really, this,
Thank God for auto pay. I just have
period
to
of
say
my
that.
life, I've made sure that my credit score has gone up instead of
Mhm,
that awful bottomness that I would get because I would be late and it would just
mhm,
ding and ding and ding.
mhm,
I didn't realize how important that was for your credit score to be on time. And I try
mhm,
so hard and then I'd miss it. I would think I paid it. I would forget.
mhm.
I'd start maybe to pay it and then I'd get distracted and abandon the task. And then in my
So
mind,
much, yeah.
I paid it. Have you ever had
Oh,
that
yeah.
where you thought you paid a
Well, it's
bill?
like taking your pills.
Oh, yeah.
Did I take my pill?
Oh, every morning
Yeah.
I reopen that cabinet.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
part of my routine, so I remember it better.
Yes.
But even then, I triple guess myself.
But I think that's good that we both created routines for our pills.
And I did the same thing for finances,
Mhm,
where I limit the avenues of how I purchase.
mhm,
So I don't have a lot of credit cards.
mhm.
I try to do cash when possible.
Yes.
And then for online purchases, it's statement balances need to be paid. And that's painful because I've overspent, I know,
Mhm, mhm.
I know. It's a struggle. It really is.
It's a struggle, but if we start our kids off now, it's not going to be a struggle for them when they get older.
So, okay, let's go back to bad times. Paying off debt. My first time I got into debt, I was in my early 20s. No, was it 94? Yeah, 21. So I had been working and it was fine. Everything was okay. I had, the credit cards that stores would give you, store credit cards at the
Yep.
mall,
Mhm.
Victoria's Secret, whatever
Yeah, all
store.
of them. Yeah.
hmm And I managed them fine. I would pay them. It was great. I would, maybe spend a little more here and there to do whatever, but I would make the monthly payments and it was fine. And then the earthquake happened in 94. And I had just quit working at UPS and had been hired at a brand new job in an office place. And I did not get to continue that job because they lost so much revenue, they couldn't hire me.
Mhm.
And then I didn't have income. I couldn't claim unemployment from UPS because I had officially quit.
Mm.
And then there was no jobs or anything lined up for me at that time. And I was going to school. So that was money. And I didn't have money. I ran out. So I was running up my credit cards. I couldn't pay my car insurance. I didn't have health insurance, like all this stuff. And then I got into a car accident a few months after that in May, after the earthquake in January. Then I had like $10,000 in medical bills come in. I had to go see a judge because I didn't have car insurance because I had to pick what I was going to pay.
Right. No, I absolutely.
And then I didn't have a house because our house got red taped. So I was like car bound, but then my car was totally foobarred. I mean, I'm glad I survived the crash. It was pretty gnarly. So I was in this really, really financial crisis situation and I didn't know how to get out of it. I did get a job and I found somewhere, some book or something that told me how to put into a spreadsheet all my credit cards, take the one, you sort it and you dump equal amounts into it, into
You're
each
killing
card.
me with the story.
Sorry, you're going to have to listen to it because maybe it helps somebody. Your dog's already asleep. I know. Hold on. Some people might like the spreadsheet. You put equal amounts into it, but once you pay off the smallest credit card, you don't reduce the amount you put into your debt payments. You add it to the highest card. You keep going to reduce each one. And I got myself out of debt. Horrible credit score, but I got myself out of debt. And that taught me a lot of things, that experience.
But did you do anything with that?
Yeah.
Oh, because I
still run spreadsheets like that. So how about you? Tell me about your financial crisis. I promise not to fall asleep.
Well, no, when I was younger and my first job, I started making out of college. I interned at a place and they hired me. And then I became a writer producer there and I started making.
Oh my God, what did you just say? Because I totally flashed back to the 90s and I could not hear you because my brain did not attend.
Writer producer.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that was so weird. That was wild. Okay. And I was all of a sudden making money. I was making money. I was living with my boyfriend at the beach. I mean, we were just like
living with
oh my
Kelly.
God, it was just awesome. And then my boyfriend and I broke up and I needed to be on my own. But remember, I was working
living.
Yes. I was also working for a woman who taught me about the finer things in life with shoes and makeup.
First handbag.
Clothes.
What was your first handbag? Tell me.
A Louis Vuitton. I bought that. That was bought for me, but she's the one that taught me all of that. So my friend and I would do tons of retail therapy. And by the time I was 20, right before I met my husband, I had to declare bankruptcy because I couldn't pay my bills because I had to leave that job. A whole rigmarole happened and I couldn't pay these bills. So I declared bankruptcy and at 27, right before I met my husband, and I literally didn't have a credit card balance until we got married. So that was probably 6 years.
And I didn't even know.
I learned from my experience of the bankruptcy because it took me a long time to rebuild my credit. And I rebuilt it. I did all of that and everything. But then I got married and we got into debt again. And it's just a vicious cycle.
And bankruptcy for me was something that corporations did. I didn't know that was something people could do.
Oh, yeah. You can do it.
Well,
and good grief. It's 2 years of bad credit and you're fine. But whatever.
But that's the thing. I was a foreigner and those money concepts were not there. So I had bad credit for a really long time from those late payments instead of recovering faster from that episode.
Right.
Because life happens.
Exactly.
Right. And there's no shame in you taking charge of your financial situation one way or another.
Yeah, no.
But you need to know what those options are.
Yeah.
And again, going back to that education component, this is not covered. And I think, bankruptcy have this really like shame attached to it. At least there was at the time.
Back then, like I didn't tell anybody that I was doing it. Now I really know I did it because it really, I had to do it.
How much shame did you have
Tons of
for
shame.
bringing that upon yourself?
Oh my God, tons of shame. I was like living in my sister's backyard. She had a guest house, and I like went to her crying. Like I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I need help. And her friend was a lawyer, and I mean, it cost about $2,500 to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, how do you do that if you don't have money? Do you charge?
he basically, I could have paid him off, or you borrow the money from someone, because eventually you'll be able to pay somebody back. And it took like, I don't know, 6 months of getting harassed by all my credit cards
So bankruptcy is
daily.
also like a rich thing. Because if you have no money and no one can loan you money because everyone that you are around with also has no money, then you it's not even an option for you to do bankruptcy. You just get the harassment. That's it, right? Until you.
Yeah, you get the harassment, and because you stop paying everything right away.
Mm-hmm.
And the bankruptcy doesn't happen
Phone
until
calls.
like 8 months. Like, so basically, my husband and I just started dating, and I would tell him if he called me, he had to call, let it ring twice, hang up, call back.
2 knocks.
No, seriously, because I never picked up the phone ever.
Phone call code.
That was a phone call code.
There's no texting back then. Is that correct, Kelly?
It was like over 20 years ago. I know, it's crazy. But you know what? And now that both of us are diagnosed, we do have some debt right now. We did take out a loan to help us out with that. But I have to pay that loan back, and that loan's paid every month, and all my bills are paid on time every month. But I do have debt that we're still working on, and we're working on it.
Yeah,
I did
I always
redo my
thought you were much
dog's
more.
leg twice, and that was
Pets
$20,000.
are so expensive.
So that was a lot of debt for us.
Yeah, pets are very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always thought that you had like this really great financial like oversight ability, whereas for me, again, that reactive
Mm-hmm.
approach to money that I had prior to understanding
Anything?
my issues.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a lot of shame around spending though, even if it's okay, I guess. Like if I'm buying something for myself,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's like a secret and it's shameful that I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that's something I gotta work on.
I do, because you know what? Also, you work really hard. And I work really hard,
Yeah, you too.
and you have to. You work really hard for the money that you get. You do deserve something, but it's like budgeting. Give yourself $100 a month. And if you need something that's more than that, then you're going to have to miss out on 3 months of your $100 to get 300.
See,
And then you can
that's
go
the
do that.
foresight.
Because unfortunately, when I spend money, I like to spend it.
Well, and I spend money with a hyper focus, usually revolved around some sort of creative thing, right? Like, like if I'm painting, I want to have like
Every paint color.
everything.
Yeah.
You know, I just cleaned this whole weekend this cacophony room that had all my things just shoved in there. You know, I have like 4 embroidery looms. These are these large wooden chunky frames. So it's not like they're small. I just like, I didn't know I had so many, and I'd forget about them if they're out of sight. And I have to do like a paintbrush inventory because I think I don't need to buy any more paintbrushes for a long time. So many things.
But you can't find the frickin' bill that's due tomorrow.
But if it's been moved or I've placed it without the conscious thought of remembering it,
Mm-hmm.
I will forget it. If I consciously want to remember it, I can see it in my head, clear as day, anywhere. But it's that impromptu placement. And then
Or I will find it later. And then
those two, then I'll forget its existence. And then I have to buy another one eventually. So garage sales.
Holy shit. So I feel like money is a huge, huge, huge problem for people with ADHD.
It comes with obstacles that if you don't have one awareness that you have ADHD, which is why I think it's really important to even explore the avenue of whether you have it or not. it could be out of control so easily. And you get into these cycles of spending that if they go unregulated, they have really huge impact on your future ability
Huge.
to make purchases and, a car, like to even buy a car, which if you're in LA, you have to have one.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you understand, or at least acknowledge that these areas are a problem, having some sort of system in place
Mm-hmm.
for each particular thing, limiting yourself for this or that, bill paying off debt plans. And then if you can't make those, finding someone, a friend who's really good at it and asking them what their system is.
Mm-hmm.
But then you run into that inherent problem of upkeep of a system.
Right. And we can get into that in the next episode.
Yeah.
Because that's hard too. That's really hard because it goes so well and then goes so wrong.
And then I think the other component ultimately is to, despite all of that, be kind to yourself that you fucked up.
Yeah.
It's okay. People who don't mess up in that area might mess up in other areas. No one's perfect.
Exactly. There's no shame in it. No.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
It is.
Yeah. But
we're still here.
Just be nice. I used to be really, really mean to myself.
Oh my God. I was so mean to myself.
But after having, really realized what the underlying issues were, I can be nicer to myself about it. And
because you're a good person.
Oh, you're a good person, Kelly.
Thanks.
Oh. And you know what's really awesome?
What?
Your dog has not farted in my face today. And I love that.
Jedi farted. He did.
Oh, well, he's on your side. I'm over here. Oh, all right. Well, should we sign this off?
I think we should. Thank you for listening to WTH ADHD.
Yes, that's the name of our podcast that we didn't really say we were doing. We're professional podcasters.
This has been a Hi It's Me ADHD production.